The Byzantine Empire, the remnants of Rome. See, it's important to understand that they never really called themselves Byzantines. It was a name that historians gave them to differentiate them from other periods long after they had ceased to exist. They actually, in fact, viewed themselves as Romans and the successor to the Roman Empire. What they were was the eastern remnants of that Roman Empire after it had split into two. But there are some important reasons why historians want to differentiate them from the old part of the Roman Empire. The first, and well, rather the largest and most striking reason they want to differentiate them was these Romans no longer actually, in fact, controlled Rome. Instead, Constantinople was now the crown jewel and the grandest city of the Byzantine Empire, or the Roman Empire at the time, and it was for about 1,000 years. The second major difference was that these Romans no longer spoke Latin. These Romans spoke Greek. It was an important lingua francana of the Eastern Roman Empire, of the later, as it is established, Byzantine Empire. But it's also an important difference that created and even perpetrated greater differences and even animosity with Latin speakers and kingdoms and peoples of the Italian peninsula, creating a historical divide that lasted for centuries. The Byzantine Empire was on its last leg by 1444. Decades and centuries of decay had made the Byzantines look like a shadow of what they once were. With the 555 Common Era height and grandeur of Justinian's empire just a distant memory. While nearly 1,000 years is a long time for an empire to maintain its size, even just 200 years earlier, the Byzantines could still call themselves an empire. With the Byzantine Empire under the Komnenos dynasty in 1185, holding almost all of what is modern-day Greece and most of Anatolia, which is modern-day Turkey. When we compare this historical height of the Byzantine Empire and bring it back to our Europa Universalis start date of 1444, the Byzantines were effectively just a speck left on the map. The Byzantines really only controlled the city of Constantinople and just a small amount of the surrounding region of Thrace, what makes up now modern-day Greece, Turkey, and Bulgaria. Along with this, they did have possessions such as Athens and the Peloponnese, but compared to their large rival and huge neighbor, the Ottomans, the Byzantines were no longer an empire. The game, Europa Universalis 4, or EU4, has a very interesting and important start date, as it starts on November 11th, 1444. This is important as one day earlier, on November 10th, 1444, was the last battle of the last Balkan Crusade, in which crusading Christians and the Byzantine Empire attempted to defeat the Ottomans at the famous battle at Varna. Varna, which at the time was part of the Ottoman Empire and now exists in modern-day Bulgaria, the victory at Varna for the Ottomans broke much of the resistance within the Balkans. With this Ottoman victory at Varna, it sealed the fate of the Byzantines and left much of the rest of Eastern Europe to their influence, with the real-world version of this leading to the domination and birth of the Ottoman Empire that would rule the Eastern Mediterranean for the next 400 years. If you guys are interested in learning more about the battle at Varna, or the Byzantine Empire, or the Ottoman Empire, check out the links down in the description, or the links that should pop up right here on screen. This will lead you to other YouTube channels in which they cover the topic in much more detail, much better than I could ever. It's alternate history time, folks. That means put on your unfounded historical tinfoil hats, as we make wild, inadequate, unsupported historical claims. What if, though, the Byzantines and Crusaders had achieved victory at Varna? In this alternate history scenario, the Ottoman forces are broken and obliterated at Varna, with Sultan Murad II being killed. What this does is throw the Ottoman Empire into chaos as his son Mehmed II takes control at only age 12. Generals and relatives attempt to take the throne instead of unite. These self-serving actions throw the Ottomans into a second civil war in less than 50 years. As these small parties war against each other, the victorious Byzantines and Crusaders march against the Ottomans at their capital in Edirne. Fearing for his life, Mehmed and those that stayed loyal flee to Bursa in Anatolia. while the allied crusading forces reach Edirne and crush any of the rebellion generals that attempted to defend it. This sacking of Edirne breaks all Ottoman control within Europe, crippling the Ottomans and weakening them in Anatolia as well. A year after our hypothetical victory at Varna for the allied crusading forces, we have a drastically different Balkans and Anatolia as the balance of power shifted and kingdoms grew and contracted. The Byzantines were able to capitalize on the collapse of the Ottomans and grab several provinces in Thrace. Seeking to secure Constantinople, they took lands directly across the strait, while their vassal Athens was able to wrest control of a bit more land in central Greece. Though the Byzantines' plans and expansion would be hindered by the capture of the Macedonian region by the Venetians, along with the declaration of the kingdom of Epirus taking over western and northern Greece, with the prevention of northward expansion as well being halted by the rebirth of the Bulgarian kingdom. While greater Byzantine expansion was stopped by Genoa and their desire to secure trade through the straits to their holdings within Crimea, while kingdoms such as Albania, Serbia, and Trebizond gained small amounts of territories with the collapse of the Ottomans, while regional Balkan powers such as Bosnia and Wallachia rounded out the Balkan region. Over in Anatolia, the Ottomans still existed, with Mehmed II ruling, though still only holding the city of Bursa. The rest of Anatolia was divided and shared between Turkish beyliks, because with the fall of the Ottomans, it gave rise to new beyliks led by mostly rebel Ottoman generals and other Turkish tribes uniting. New Turkish beyliks formed, such as Aydin, Ertana, Jermayan, and Menteis. These Turkish beyliks were the direct consequence of the power vacuum left by the collapse of the Ottoman Empire. While other Turkish beyliks that had existed alongside the Ottomans, such as Karaman and Kandar, expanded with the lack of Ottoman rule and power. Anatolia now had no true ruler. Can one of these new Turkish beyliks take the place of the Ottomans as the sole power of Anatolia? Will the Italian republics dominate the seas and trade, steering the region to their will? Or can a power from the Balkans emerge? Will the Byzantines rise once again to claim the glory for the legacy of Rome? Find out in the What If gameplay video, where I will give commentary as we look at how the situation and events will play out in our hypothetical scenario. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked the video, please leave a like. If you like the content of the channel or like to see more, please subscribe. Of course, leave comments down below for any scenarios you'd like to see play out. Once again, thank you so much, and ciao for now.